The very first memory I have of my father is him taking me, my twin brother Michael, and our two twin sisters, Carrie and Lori, from our mother's house in Springfield, Missouri. There were these two poodles that me and Michael loved. We would always pet them, and they were our best friends, and we'd always run around with them. And they weren't that old, you know. They were kind of old dogs, but they weren't that old. And this is the very first memory I have of this guy known as my father, you know. He had big dark hair and big dark tinted glasses, and I didn't really know what to think of him, you know. I was like, this guy looks scary, you know. I was like 3, 4 years old. I have a lot of memories, thousands of memories from before I was 4 years old, living with my mom. Good memories, too. But this was when our dad took custody of the 4 kids, and I didn't know where our mom was. But the 4 of us were in the car, and the first place he went to was a vet's office. He took the poodles out, and me and Michael were like, where are poodles going? Where are friends going? You know, I don't remember the names of the dogs, but he's like, oh, they're just going to go to sleep. They're just going to take a nap inside, you know. You'll see them later, you know. And if he even gave us an answer, but I kind of like sensed something was wrong since I was a really bright little kid. And so then he goes and he puts our 2 dogs down for no reason, just because he's an asshole. And then, like, we're supposedly driving to Texas, but once again, me and Michael were about 3 or 4 years old, so we're not supposed to know what's going on, but I was a very bright child. So we went to this motel room, right, and then all 5 of us are in this room, and, you know, I'm just sitting there like, wow, this is weird, I'm in a hotel room, you know. And then about 10 o'clock before bedtime, I noticed our father, he pours a bowl of Sugar Smacks, Honey Smacks cereal. And I knew exactly what it was, and I was like, Honey Smacks, I like those, you know. And so being a cute little 3-year-old kid, you know, like 3-year-old kids do, I went up to him like all cute, you know, and I was like, what's that, you know. And then I'll never forget it, he said so meanly, he's like, it's medicine! You know, I was like, gang, gotta remember not to be cute around his guy, you know. And then, like, you know, that was the very first memory of this guy named my father. You know, it's funny calling him a father because he was never a fucking father. Alright? Another memory I have of him is my cat Feo. I once had a cat named Feo, and each of my sisters had cats, but I brought home Feo. It was a multicolored calico cat, and a friend of mine gave it to me, and I brought him home, and my dad hated the cat and always kicked it around and stuff, and didn't want it at all. But he ended up staying in my room, like that was in my room, you know, in me and Michael's room, and Feo ended up getting pregnant because you know, nobody got her fixed, and, you know, me and Michael were about, you know, 12 years old at this time, so you can't really expect a 12-year-old to get their animals fixed. It's more of a parent's job, but our dad, you know, he basically brought us to the brink of starvation, despite the fact that he was a college professor and made numerous amounts of money, but everybody at school knew me and Michael as the poor boys because we were seriously neglected. But back to Feo, one day I came home from school, and Feo got pregnant and ended up having 2 kittens, a gray kitten and a black kitten. And these kittens were so cute, me and Michael would play with them every day. We didn't have any toys or anything, so kittens were a really good thing to have around. And one day I come home from school, and, you know, Feo is gone, and so are our 2 kittens. And, you know, I go to my father, I barely spoke to him because, you know, scared to death of his fucking sorry ass. And I'm like, where's Feo? Where's my cat and the 2 kittens? So then he's just laughing on the couch. He's like, I don't know. I'm like, where are they at? Like, this is the first time I'm standing up to him. He's like, I said I don't know, you know. And I'm like, this is something wrong. I'm demanding to know where my cats are at. You can't just take my cats. You know. He's like, I took your cats. I took them. I threw them out the window. They're gone. They're gone, you know. And then I ran to my room crying. I was 12 years old, you know. If I would have known better, I would have known, hey, Pops, that's a felony. You need to get your ass in fucking jail for doing that shit. You can't kill your son's cats because you don't like cats. You know, as an adult, I think back and look at this sorry motherfucker. Damn, dude. It's sad, you know. Here, another memory I have of this father of ours. one day one week during the summer we were going to go on a big road trip. The 5 of us were supposed to go out to New Orleans, but of course, our sisters, Kara and Lori, they didn't want me and Michael to go, But either way, the father was too cheap to put up a babysitter. Me and Michael were about 12, 13 years old. I guess this was right around the time after he killed my cat. And we drive all the way to New Orleans and everything. And then, there's all these, secret conversations going on between my sisters and my dad. It was always like that, so me and Michael didn't really think much of it. But this time, they're all, hey, we're going to drop you 2 at the mall. We're 12 years old. We're actually maybe even younger than that. We could have been as young as 8 years old. But we were too young to be dropped off at the mall. And he's like, you boys see a movie, And this was the very first time in our lives I remember him ever giving us money. He gave us each $5. And me and Michael, we were like, oh my God, we're rich. He's giving us money. This is awesome, So we go and see the movie. It was Naked Gun 2.5, I believe. And after we're done with the movie, we're walking around the mall and stuff, and they don't come back and everything, and a few hours pass, and me and Michael were like, whoa, this is pretty cool. It actually felt like freedom. It felt like we were kids. We didn't have to follow this fucking mean old man. And we spent the money on the movie, and we went to the arcade in the mall in New Orleans. And we didn't have any money, so we went to the wishing well, and we stuck our hands in and grabbed some quarters, and went and played Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on the arcade game, and it was all awesome. And they had the Simpsons arcade game too, back when it was cool. And I was just thinking whoa, maybe they won't come back. And as an adult, I kind of understand that's probably what they were thinking. They were going to just leave us there. It's probably our sister's idea, just to drop us off in New Orleans and not come back. But then, about 8 or 9 at night, they all of a sudden come back, and our sisters are all being nice for some reason, maybe they felt guilty or something like that. But anyways, I don't have any respect for my sisters, especially my sister Carrie. God bless that she is barren. That woman does not need to ever have children, because she was as mean as possible to me and my brother. She would steal everything from me, and my father, he wouldn't do shit about it. He would let her. One of the last years I lived at home, when I was 14, I was working for the newspaper, so I finally had my own money. So fuck you, Pops, And but I was still living at home at this point, and when I was selling a bunch of newspaper subscriptions, I was getting paid a lot of money. And every week I would buy 2 new Tommy Hilfiger shirts. This was back when everybody wore those polo Tommy Hilfiger shirts, the red ones, the yellow ones, the blue ones, And so I would get 2 new ones every week. And sometimes I would just keep them in the closet, and just my closet, which was downstairs, since me and Michael had to live in the garage. We had to use the downstairs closet. And sometimes I would just keep them in there and look at them, and I would keep the tags on them, so I could see how much I paid for them. And I was proud of them, I earned those shirts, And one day I had 2 brand new shirts in there, and I went back in my closet. I went in my garage, I was watching TV, and nobody was there except for my sister and my father. And my father, he was watching TV in the living room, and my sister was upstairs in her room, and I was in the garage. So I'm gone for in my room in the garage for an hour, and I come back out and I open the closet door, and my 2 Tommy Hilfiger shirts are gone. And I'm just whoa. Wait, well, of course I can't be myself around our father. He taught us at a very young age, no personalities for you two, And so I'm just yes, I had 2 Tommy Hilfiger shirts in here, and now they're gone. You were sitting right there the last hour, right? And he's like, yeah, I didn't touch them. What are you talking about? He's all mean to me. And he's like, oh, I'm like, well, I know you didn't touch them, but obviously Carrie came downstairs and stole them, and that's pretty wrong, And then I'm and then he just refuses to do anything about it. And I go up there and I'm like, Carrie, you stole my 2 Tommy Hilfiger shirts. I was just in the garage. You were the only one here. You obviously came downstairs and stole them, And then she's just yeah, fuck you, you're not getting them back. They're mine now, And I go downstairs and I try to get some sense out of my fucking quote unquote father. I'm like, hey, she just stole those from me. And he's like, so what? You probably stole them anyways. And that's what our sister Carrie said too. She's like, you probably stole them anyways. And I'm just wow. I mean, I might only be 14 years old, but I understand how unfair this is. I didn't steal those shirts. I bought them with the money that I earned from selling newspaper subscriptions door to door. Of course, maybe they would like to paint a picture of me and my brother as these mean, raggedy, nasty boys. Our sisters used to always just call us Ren and Stimpy or Beavis and Butthead. They'd always try to like act like we're not fucking blood relatives or something. Like, just paint us a picture of that. And it's so disturbing, because they're the ones that are really bad. But hey, guess what, guys? One thing you guys didn't tell me, I have an IQ of 160. I'm smarter than 99.9% of the people on Earth. And that includes all of you. So now as an adult, guess what? I didn't forget.